¿Qué lo que Knicks fans, man? Welcome to episode 59 of Knicks Fans Wild. And as you can see, I'm in South Beach already, baby. I'm already in the arena. I'm waiting for the guys to come out, man. Excuse the green Celtics. I'm here already in the arena waiting for game six. The most important Knicks game in 10 years, man. The last time we was in a game six, Roy Hibbert broke all our hearts. He literally broke all our hearts. So we don't want that again. So here we are, game six, and I'm with the gang over here. Don Juan, Zebo, Omar. Want you guys to tell the people it's really good, Don Juan.
Well, fresh off a nice win, backs against the wall, game 5 W was exciting to watch. We got together yesterday at a local bar out here, trying public. If you guys in the area, Washington Heights, check it out, dope spot. But yeah, it was a great game. I mean, don't get me wrong, towards the end there, it was one of those where you're looking at your friend next to you like, yo, are we really gonna let this league get away from us here? But Knicks tightened up, made some great plays. I mean, we saw a lot of great plays. I mean, and the biggest play probably of the night, maybe of the season, Quentin Grimes. I mean, that was exciting. That was exciting. But nonetheless, I mean, excited that we get to survive another day. And let's see, the fate is in our hands. Well, on the players' hands, obviously, but it's in our hands. And this is what we played into. 3-1 series, not ideal, of course, but 3-2 now. Let's see if we could take matters into our own hands. Miami's a second home, and I'm pretty sure the fans are gonna show up once again. Hopefully, we don't dig ourselves in a hole like the last game where we ended up losing by double digits. But man, I'm confident. I'm confident. Maybe not as confident as I was last episode, where the chill meter was super low. Well, the fear meter was super low, but it's still good. It's still good. I like how my team is vibing, the energy, especially off of Randall getting all NBA, and then just coming off a dub and looking good and making some shots. I feel like that's been something that we haven't been seeing from our guys, man.
All right. So we're gonna get into that in a few. Omar, how you feeling right now, bro?
I'm feeling great, man. A Triple M messaged me earlier, say, "Hey, you want to jump on a episode?" I'm like, "Say less." I'm always here, but I'm here to bring some positivity, I guess. As we were talking before we went live.
Omar's the
I see Don Juan. He seemed a little skeptical about the Knicks' chances, even though he said that we're still alive. But hey, this is what we're fans for, right? Like we're all about second round of the playoffs, game six on the road. I mean, this is what you dream about, right? This is kind of, especially as Knicks fans, like we haven't seen a lot of this. It's not like we're the Warriors or something. We're always in the mix. So I'm excited, man. That was a fun game last night. It's a classic Knicks roller coaster, and if you're going to be a fan of this team, you better, have some good heart medication, especially as we get older now, So,
charge up
um,
the pacemaker.
yeah, check out the pacemaker. So we had some great shot making from Jalen, and RJ and Julius had a great third quarter, and then late it got a little testy, showed our inexperience, I think, but ended up pulling out the win, did what we need to do, and you mentioned it, Don Juan, the just the play by Quentin Grimes, iconic play. We're gonna remember that for years to come. Just call it the steal, right? And yeah, it was great, especially the circumstances of the screen that probably should have been a foul on Bam Adebayo, and then to just recover which is great. So a great good feeling with Knicks win. Hoping they could keep it going in South Beach tomorrow night.
Yeah, last week we had our brother Mike on, and all our chill level was at 3-4. So I know right now is at a 9-10. I know I gotta hit up Michael. Michael's is at a 15, man. He hit me up after the game three. He's like, "Yo, I'm done with this team." Yo, that guy, man. Shout out to our guy Mike, man. Zebo, tell us how you feeling, bro. Cause you and Omar right now on my screen. You guys are
We're playing with house money, Triple M. That's the thing, house money. All right,
yo,
we
I'm
weren't
not
supposed to be
I'm
here.
not I'm not
That's
hearing that.
true.
I'm not hearing that right now. I don't care who was not supposed to be here. I moved the goalpost already. I already moved the goalpost. You should have beat Miami, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance. Zebo was really good, man.
Yo, listen, bro. The Knicks got me in a whole blender right now. I don't even know, though, yo, the roller coaster of emotions that this team has got me through the last few weeks. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how. Like it's like Omar said, man. To be a Knicks fan, you got to be a different. You got to be a different type of person, man. Because this is just not. And then, yo, dealing with Julius, man. Like y'all already know. Like Julius is my guy, but man, the roller coaster of emotions that you go with this guy is just like it's like a relation. It's legit like a relationship. We even legit have a relationship with
A
this guy.
toxic,
Like
a toxic
Sunday,
one.
a toxic relationship. Like there's be days, bro, where you love him, bro. Like you just want him there. But man, there's some days where he man, just frustrate the shit out you. But
He
honestly,
gave
bro,
you
I
both of
would
those days yesterday, Zebo. That's the funny
give
thing.
me
The
both.
first half
Yo,
was one, the
first,
second half was another.
yo, crazy, man. But honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Cause like Omar
What?
said, bro, like.
Wouldn't
I
have.
wouldn't have. I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Honestly, the season's been
I'm
fun.
on to you, fam.
I mean, listen, bro. Like it's like Omar said, you got to be different, bro. Like, listen, we've been through a season where we only won 17 games. Like, come on. Like,
Nah,
would you rather have that or
That
the
build
roller
that
coaster
builds
of emotions we
character.
going through? Nah,
That builds
exactly,
character.
exactly.
hold
So
on now. We down 3-2. Y'all guys is bringing too much positivity into the mix right now. I'm
a
not trying
A
to
lot
hear
of
that. I
smiling, a
need
lot
you
of
to talk
smiles.
about your
Triple
boy.
up,
lot of
why don't you
smiles,
believe?
right?
I need you to talk about your boy Julius Randle and how he
So
played.
if we would have done this pod after if we would have done this pod after game 4, after game 3, then I would have been like you would have seen me in a different mood. But come on, bro, we took game 5. Like
I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it, man. Yo, I'm not trying to hear it, dog. I'm not trying to hear it. So let's talk about this game 5 win. The Knicks finally made some shots, fellas. The Knicks finally made some shots and got some contributions from everywhere, man. But the biggest, Jalen Brunson, 48 minutes. Quentin Grimes, 48 minutes. Got to clap it up for my guys, man. Those guys really balled out. Brunson with a huge game, man. 38 points. Grimes got hurt, played some defense. That was like a signature moment right there.
yo,
Got
Triple F, real quick, what were we yelling the whole time during every time Jalen Brunson was scoring? What we was saying the whole time? Where they got to put that man's jersey in? Where they got
listen,
to put that man's jersey in?
Put him in the
listen, man. They
rafters.
always making banner memes, but I haven't seen a banner meme of Jalen Brunson. Put my man's name on the rafters already. Like I'm calling it right now.
Yeah.
There, right next to the guy Willis Reed or whatever you want to do, man. Put it up there because my man is a dog, man. I'm super pumped. Look at this: 38 points, 12 or 22 from the field, fellas, and the 48 minutes. Like it's been a long time since Clyde Frazier that the Knicks have had somebody play 48 minutes. So shout out to our guy Jalen Brunson, and shout out to the guy RJ Barrett, man. What a game for RJ. 26.7 rebounds. Got to sprinkle in a little good game by Julius. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4-7 from 3. Finally playing in control, fellas. So I want to get around the table, man. Everybody, salute to everybody in the chat, man. I just seen that. Don Juan, what you thinking about? Oh, look at our boy Mo Murphy supposedly hacking, Heat and 6. Come on, man. We're not trying to listen to that. We not trying to listen to that, man.
Love that though. I love that.
I'm taking that
Hey,
right
haters
off.
gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. But Don Juan, how you feeling about New York Knicks after that game 5 win?
I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready for Game 6. You should be playing today after the Jalen Brunson put up a show like that. I mean, the
Now,
man's on
give him
fire.
some rest.
The
Give him
man's
some.
on fire. Nah, actually, he does need some rest. That ankle has to be
Whoa,
the
yeah,
size of my
yeah,
head right
yeah.
now, swollenness. But now the guy was, I know his back hurt because he was carrying for sure, man. Oh, just all game, pushing the limit, cooking up the heat, and picking the matches up, picking them wisely. I felt like he wasn't forcing matters, and literally taking every guy, breaking them down at a time. I mean, he had no answer for him. The dude was playing double teams. He was doing it all. And then when you consider that everybody else was flowing, Quentin Grimes made some early shots. It just opened up the game for everybody. So it was nice to see. It was nice to see just some shots going in, like I mentioned earlier. Knicks in the season, we had arguably one of the best offenses in the league, and it completely has disappeared on us throughout this playoff run. And to see some signs of that yesterday was great. And I felt like, even on the Heat side, I felt like they're coming down in real life too on their end. I felt like their three hasn't been spectacular. They've just been hitting a lot of them. They've been shooting them. The volume's been there, but they haven't been making them efficiently. But that's what's been keeping them in the game, which you guys saw yesterday after we were up 19 points. The Heat managed to come back and cut the lead down to 3 or 4 points because of the 3-point the 3-point ball. I mean, Duncan Robinson was running all around, and it was just whether hands up or not, the guy was just shooting off balance. The guy could shoot. That's his thing, and he was hitting them. But nonetheless, everything that the Knicks had to adjust, whether it's, the effort, the defense was there yesterday. Maybe it was a little fortunate too, because the Heat, on top of the fact that we were playing good defense, there was a lot of open shots that the Heat had that they were completely missing. But like I said, I just think that there's some regression because these guys were just hitting so many threes on us that it's like eventually just the numbers are going to work itself out and the averages will come down. The Heat were literally at the bottom of the barrel in the league in three-point percentage. And now they're on a run. I get it. And sometimes you also can't reflect those numbers. It's a different season, playoffs and the actual regular NBA season. But you're talking about an 82 game season. When you talk about the sample size, it starts to make sense eventually. And the Heat, they beat the Bucks shooting the three. They're gonna beat us. Well, actually, Jimmy Butler took over, but they beat the Bucks, and now they show some of that heatness on against us. But at the same time, I do think that the numbers are gonna are on our side because it seems like our offense is clicking once again. Jimmy Butler, I feel like the defense has adjusted to him where there's not too much double team on him. Where I felt like before there was too much focus on him, and I really hope that that Quentin Grimes injury ain't too bad because we don't need him for this next game. There hasn't been a status update. The Knicks are real low key when it comes to the injury report. So
he's
hopefully,
not even on the report. So
hopefully, what happened?
He's not even on the report.
Yeah,
so
and he continued playing after that injury. But
man, the man played 48 minutes. He probably caught a little cramp at the end. He was just tired. He's like,
Bam. Bam has been just killing our guys, man. Whether he's jumping on people's back, tripping people, like there's like a 2-minute video of just dirty plays of Bam just in this series against the Knicks. So that tells you what type of player we're dealing with. But yeah, man, we're down 3-2. Like I said, not an ideal situation, but the positive is that we're still alive. Our guys are still here. Maybe we just need we need that back against the wall type of mentality where our guys just need that edge. Because at the same time, Julius Randle the other day, I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. We could probably discuss on it if you want. Maybe just forget about it because that was just after an ugly loss. But when Julius Randle said, it seems like they want it more than us, which some people say that was, you don't want your leader saying that, whatever side you're on, I feel like that maybe sparked the plug on everybody's end too. Because I felt like I haven't seen so many Knicks players on the floor like I saw last game, man. Those guys were getting to it, hustling, and there was no doubt about it that the effort was there yesterday, and that's what I like to see. And hopefully we continue, and hopefully we don't run out of gas because those first few games, it looked like we were running out of gas. But I'm confident that our boys, especially with a leader like Jalen Brunson and a role player like Quentin Grimes, who stuffed the stat sheet, not only did he had a couple threes, 2 steals, 2 blocks, like the guy was doing it all. But you got players like that are contributing on every end. Is gonna get everybody. He's gonna rally the troops. And man, let's see, man. I'm confident. Maybe not as confident as I was when I said we Knicks in 5. But I'm confident we're gonna turn the ship around and win in 7.
Oh, everybody's feeling confident right now. I know Omar about to hit us with some confident stuff right now, Omar. So I'm gonna let you rock. I'm leaving that. Y'all way too positive here from Michael right now. So let's see what you got for us, Omar.
All right, shout out, Mike, man. I appreciate the cynicism, first of all. Before I say what I have to say, I do have to relay a message from my co-host on the Worldwide Knicks podcast, Rafa. He remembered the last time that I was on this pod and when you guys were doubting RJ Barrett, and he wanted to just collect those receipts because he's been magnificent, of course. We all know that, but just wanted to throw that out there first. But speaking of this series, I really think that Miami, they needed to win yesterday because now the pressure's on, because you got to treat game 6 like it's a game 7, because you're going to be dealing with game 7 at the Garden. Like that's just so much pressure, right? Because and then you have the added pressure. Oh, we can't close these guys out. Are they in our heads? That sort of thing. So the game for them to win really was yesterday. Now they're probably going to be pressing. So I would really be looking for Miami to kind of really go full throttle in the beginning of Game 6 because of that. I do think that this series is going 7. Game 7s, you don't know what's going to happen. But speaking on the last game, Brunson and Grimes, what can you say? 48 minutes, Warriors, they just got it done. Ankle injury for Brunson doesn't matter. Still dropping 38. Grimes making timely plays defensively. Obviously, the huge steal. Hit a couple shots. He looked great. RJ and Julius both had excellent offensive games as well. And, I know a lot of people are down on Julius right now. A lot of people want him traded and all that. But I feel like the shooting numbers don't look great, right, throughout the entire playoffs. So we could all agree on that. But I still feel like 80% of the process from him has been good. And the idea is like, one, you mentioned, what's
Repeat that. 80% of what?
Of his process. So like the looks he's getting, the plays he's trying to make, there have been lapses on defense. Even I would admit that, right? There where he get the blow bys, they're a problem, where you're just watching Bam kind of coast in there and you don't even try to do anything. But I think his process, like the looks he's been going for, haven't been super forced like we've noticed from Julius in the past. So you're getting a good process, but the shots weren't falling. They started to fall yesterday. He shot over 50%. And, people act like, oh, that's a nice little game. 24 points on efficient shooting isn't a nice little game in the playoffs. That's a big deal, right? Especially for a guy who supposedly is trash in the playoffs. So you hope that is a step in the right direction. So you hope that RJ is going to continue to do this. Not having quickly hurts, even despite how bad he's been this postseason. That's a huge hit to the depth. And, so it was just an encouraging win because you got it from all your important players. Your 3 guys played well in multiple facets of the game. You had great plays from Grimes. I do want to mention one guy, though. No one's really talking about this. Shout out to Mitchell Robinson for hitting some fucking free throws. Like, they went to hack a Mitch, and he made them pay. Like, he didn't make all his free throws, obviously, but 4 for 7, I think it was, down the stretch. You expect Mitch in some of those scenarios to go 2 for 7. And that was a huge, huge swing in the way that Miami's strategy was kind of going on. And I'm looking at this Knicks team, and there's a chance that they come out flat after just exerting all their energy last night. That's a possibility. But I'm choosing to believe that the shots were starting to fall. They had some stretches there in the third quarter where the groove was finally there. The things we saw in the regular season were manifesting in the playoffs. And yeah, so I'm hoping that continues in Miami. But you already know that Miami's going to go crazy. And last thing I do want to say, Don Juan mentioned the quote from Julius about that they wanted it more. I think we all know Julius isn't like a alpha type leader, right? He's more of a kind of a sidekick type dude. That's just not his personality. We all know the leader of this team is Jalen Brunson. He's the one who's going to get in the main interviews. He's the one that's going to be making the comments, and he's the one who's going to take this team as far as it's going to go. So in terms of like my confidence meter, I'm not 100% confident. I mean, I feel like it's a 50-50 proposition tomorrow in Miami, where we could kind of come out blazing and sneak out with the win, or we could get run off the floor after we kind of exerted everything we had in Game 5.
Yeah, that's some great points right there, bro, for real. And shout out to Mitch, man. Shout out Money Mitch. Big free throws, the line drive free throws that you kind of got to be scared.
Yeah, they go in, though.
They might bounce out and break a jaw. But listen, that Game 5 win, I was super pumped, super excited. Finally, look, if the Knicks would have been playing like this all series, it would have been curtains right now. We would be the one trying to close this team out in Miami. You finally saw that hustle. You finally saw the shots falling. I would disagree with you about Julius 80%. I have not seen that, honestly. Uh, he just hasn't been as quick and assertive as we saw him this whole year until last game. We finally saw that. And the defense has been bad, man. It's just been like just real bad, flat footed from Julius Randle. But listen, as much as people say, "Oh, we got to trade him or play Obi," we need Randall. It's just no way around it, man. Julius is needed on this team right now, and so it was good to finally see him ball out, and it was good to see RJ, man. RJ really he's doing stuff that we haven't seen all year, especially like kind of like mid range or those push shots. Or yeah, like we haven't seen that from RJ really all year, and that's gonna just elevate his game because now you got to respect that. Now you can't just expect him to just try to drive to the rim all the time. He could give you that little. And his defense on Butler, what a block by Jimmy Butler there. His defense been more attentive. So this is the Knicks team I wanted to see. Listen, if this Knicks team comes out in Miami, we have a shot to bring this back to Broadway. But I just don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be there. Like Omar just said, they exerted a lot of energy. Playing your best guy 48 minutes. That's a lot of energy right there. And then it's a quick turnaround. I feel like every game's been like 2 days off, 3 days off, and then this one where we put all our chips on the table, it's like 1 day off, and you got to travel to Miami. So here we are now, Knicks against Heat tomorrow, Friday, day after Brunson and Grimes both play 48 minutes. So it's gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna let y'all know what's the key to winning Game 6 in a few. But Zeba, I want to get your thoughts on that Game 5 victory.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, man, it's just a regular Knicks, bro. Just put you in a roller coaster the whole time. Excuse me. And yeah, man, just to honestly just to see the effort in Game 5 was the most encouraging part for me because I feel like with Game 4 and Game 3, just some of the mental lapses, just some of the effort that I did see on defense, some of the closeouts. Because I mean, again, you're letting guys like Cody Zeller, again, you're letting guys like Gabe Vincent, beat you, and that should not be happening. And honestly, these are just closing out some of the rebounding. It really, it was super discouraging. And so to see them really put effort up, to see them really put the effort on from Quentin Grimes, even some of the guys on the bench. Like I know, obviously, the numbers won't really say it, man, but to see the effort from Obi once he was in the game, to see the effort from Hardenstein when he was in the game was really encouraging. And so, and obviously, man, we are gonna go as far as as our core three takes us. Like obviously, so again, the 24 points that Julius did have, yeah, it's not gonna be, it's not a 30 point 10 rebound type of game, but it's the game that we needed, especially to see him shoot 4 for 7 from three, and especially because again, the whole this whole time, all we've been hearing is the fact that Julius is legit the worst field goal percentage shooter in NBA playoff history, which is not something you want to be hearing. So for us to get the 4 for 7 from three, for him to start getting hot, because you're right, Omar. Like the first 10 minutes were bad. I honestly just I didn't know what to. Honestly, I just stood quiet. I didn't know what to think. I was super speechless. And then to see him start hitting shots, to see him not hold the ball, to make quick decisions, shoot quick shots was really good to see. And then obviously, I mean, Jalen Brunson, man, um, the 48 minutes was super big. Quentin Grimes, man, even though he only scored 8 points, man, you could see his presence on the floor every single time on defense, man. And honestly, and also RJ Barrett too, man. We have to really shout him out because as much as he did well offensively, he really was a pest towards Jimmy the whole time in that fourth quarter. And so to see Grimes and RJ Barrett really put their foot down on Jimmy the whole time was really encouraging. But obviously we need to make sure that we keep this consistent. And yeah, man, I mean, listen, as much as Julius is he's scrutinized. It just is what it is. And but we are going to go as far as he takes us because obviously we know what we're going to get from Jalen every single night. But listen, man, for us to win Game 6, we need another performance like this from Julius, or else it's over for us. So Yeah, man, super encouraging to get this game 5 at home, man. The crowd was going crazy, man. Honestly, it's crazy. The loudest I heard that crowd was every time Mitch was shooting those, it was making those free throws, man. So, nah, legit, man. So, yeah, man, just great effort all around from the whole team. It was a whole team win, man. As much as Jalen Brunson obviously had he had the historic game, it was a whole team effort around.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. Zebo. So, fellas, let's shift gears quickly here. Game 6 in Miami, as we said, Friday, tomorrow, or today, or whenever, 7:30 p.m. Knicks versus Heat down in Miami. What's the key for the Knicks to win that game? What's the key? What do you guys want to see from the Knicks in order to steal one in Miami? Let's go to our guest today. Omar, you start us off right here.
So Zebo mentioned about you need a big game from Randall, and I think you need a big game from the big three, right? From Brunson, Randall, and RJ. But I think more importantly than that, you need some bench contribution, man. You need this bench to show up. Obviously, you need a good Josh Hart game is what you need, right? He's had a bad series. Like that's not sugarcoating. He was very good against Cleveland, not so great against Miami, and so I think you need a big game from him off the bench. In addition to the main three guys playing well. The
Yeah, he
thing
got in
about
foul
it,
trouble really quick.
yeah, he
He got
did, he did, and the main thing about it too is this team. I said this I think last week was they're everything has to go a certain way for this team to win in the playoffs, right? It isn't going to be just like, oh, we can only rely on a great performance from Jalen and that's it. You need all of these guys to contribute. We don't have that transcendent of a superstar type thing. So, but yeah, for me, it has to be a whole team thing. It has to be the bench. We need great minutes from Obi. He provided those yesterday. We need him to continue that. And additionally, just keep on getting those good minutes from Isaiah Hartenstein and have, a couple big shots from Josh Hart. And that could be the difference in the game, I think.
Yeah, man, you stole my answer. And I got to think of another one. That's what I was going to go. That's a great point, bro. Don Juan, what you thinking in order for the Knicks to sneak one in South Beach?
Well, I think something that's been haunting us this series is the turnovers. We need to clean the game up. Need to clean it up. I feel like we're making it hard on ourselves to be in games by committing turnovers, whether it's stepping out of bounds or offensive fouls, and the refs haven't been on our side this series. So going down to Miami, usually the refs are on the home team side. So and home team slash Jimmy Butler side because Jimmy gets all the calls too. So that's I think we can't rely on the refs or the refs to be on our side every game. And the one thing that I feel like that we do have control is protecting the ball, making sure that we're not making stupid passes, lazy passes. I feel like I still see that. I saw that last game that they continuously are just either undermining the Heat's defense or just being lazy. And I probably lean more to the lazy part because the defense is there and you're still choosing to pass the ball right in front of the defender. So I think if we clean it up, avoid the turnovers, and attack mismatches, I feel like that's been our bread and butter. We've been seeing Jalen Brunson literally pick apart their defense. Honestly, it might not even matter who guards him, but obviously the Jimmy Butlers of the world are gonna make it tough on him. But if we pick apart the mismatches, I mean, Gabe Vincent cannot stop RJ Barrett, nonetheless, obviously Brunson. But I feel like we need to keep picking apart the mismatches. I feel like that's the advantage that we have. The Heat don't have the best defense, but they are decent team defenders. So if we could just attack them on that end, I feel like there's no way we lose, man. There's no way.
Yeah, for real, man. I think that for me personally, since Omar stole my answer, I have to just find another one right now. I thought the bench is gonna be huge, man. We need, like you saw last game, we was down 10 in the first. The bench came in with Obi and really kind of boosted that energy, even though it was only Obi really out there with the bench. But for me, I think it's the little plays, man. Especially that game 4 in Miami last game. We actually started playing better. Like we had a great third quarter. I feel like uh, one of the best quarters of the series for the Knicks. but we just got out hustled, man. And then the fourth quarter came, and every offensive rebound was grabbed by Miami. And they're the home team, so the crowd is getting behind you, and that just builds momentum. So I think the Knicks have to just get all the little plays. That's going to be super important for me. All the little plays, all the hustle plays. And listen, the Knicks have done that all year. That's what I'm saying. Like, that has been the foundation of this team, this tough, gritty team that's going to come at you. And they're going to be tough. Like, you heard about it mostly all year. Was like, man, the Knicks are a tough team. We got beat up trying to beat this team today. And I just feel like Miami, they're just getting layups, getting rebounds, just not getting that physical New York Knicks energy that's been here all year. So for me, it's going to be those little plays, clean up the turnovers, like Don Juan mentioned, and make quick decisions. I feel like every time we push the ball, good things happen. Good things happen every time we push the ball and play fast because it doesn't let Miami set up that stingy defense. So play fast and get all the hustle points, man. That's
Is
gonna
that
be
is all right, bro? You can say Julius, just play faster, don't hold the
Julius.
ball, bro.
We're gonna talk about Julius next, so I didn't want to say his name yet, but
There you go.
please, man, please bring this back to Broadway. Please bring this back to 33rd and 8th. Because if this series goes back to 33rd and 8th, man, it's gonna be a problem. Don't let it come back to 33rd and 8th. That's all I'm saying. Do not let it come back to 33rd and 8th, man. Zebo, give me your thoughts. What the Knicks gotta do in game 6?
Man, so all of you guys make great points. We got to neutralize Jimmy, man. Like I'll be honest. Every time during these games, I'm always like, and in every possession down the floor, I'm always looking to see like where Jimmy Butler's on the floor, like just to see how he's feeling. And to be honest with you guys, I feel like he's been pacing himself this series. Like I have not seen. I feel like this series I haven't seen playoff Jimmy yet. And to be honest, like last game, obviously we played. I feel like we played really good team defense on him. Like I said before, I think RJ did a good job on him. I think Ben Grimes, obviously, he had the big steal on him. But to be honest, he was pretty pedestrian. Honestly, he probably had his worst playoff game I think so far. And look, he only took 12 shots on 19 points. I'll be honest. I think he's pacing himself, and I think Game 6. Obviously, this is where play. This is where the legend comes from. Jimmy Butler is in these games, and so we need to find a way to really neutralize him. Obviously, we're not gonna with an elite player like that. You have to try. You just have to try to make it tough on him. He's gonna make his tough shots. It just is what it is. But we have to make sure that we make it really. We have to make sure that we do make it hard on them. That we play really good team defense. Going back to the closeouts, because again, we have to neutralize the amount of threes that this team does take, and again, that's also just part of neutralizing Jimmy because he is the playmaker of that team. So I think if we do neutralize Jimmy to where again he's gonna get his 20 points, but let's make sure let's make sure that he's not shooting it efficiently. And so I think if that happens, then we're coming back to the Garden.
You just scared me, Zebo. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You talking about
But to be honest, bro, yeah, I mean, I haven't noticed, bro. It looks like he's been pacing himself, low key. Like again, he hasn't been. I haven't seen like Milwaukee Bucks playoff Jimmy yet. Like I haven't seen that type of Jimmy yet. So that's what I'm honestly really nervous about.
nah, that's
And
it.
he had 19 points yesterday, and 9 of
Yeah,
those were from the free throw line. So
yeah. I
that
mean,
does
you
make
expect
sense.
that.
He already
He
said in
wasn't.
the
He was
post
taking his
game.
time.
He already said
Yeah.
in the post game, if Spoelstra needs him to play 48 minutes, he's gonna play 48 minutes. So and he guaranteed a win on basically.
Now we're gonna get it. Now, yeah, bro, we're gonna get his best.
So
We're gonna get
it's
his.
gonna
We're gonna
be
get playoff Jimmy now.
we're gonna see a Jimmy Butler haymaker tomorrow, and let's see how the New York Knicks.
Let's see how we respond.
Let's see how we
Get that
respond to
Mayweather counter. We're gonna hit him with the Mayweather counter.
Let's see. But we gotta talk about two players, man, that's just been an enigma these playoffs, and we're gonna lump them together here quickly. We gotta talk about RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Uh, Julius has been getting a lot of heat, and that's what happens when you're one of the top dogs in the New York market. But the Julius files are not looking too good, and we got two of the biggest Julius fans here. So I'll ask you, fellas, to please show some non-biasness. That's what I'm gonna say. And you got me, a huge RJ fan, even though Rafa did not like me uh violating my man's RJ, but I still have no RJ Barrett slander allowed on this show. Zebo found that out 2 weeks ago. I still we just do not put on the show no RJ Barrett slander. You already know the vibe. And you got Don Juan here, who's kind of more a little neutral, kind of tab, puts his foot on the line all the time. So I want to see what you guys got to say. So I'm gonna start with you, Don Juan. Talk about RJ Barrett's playoff performance in this Miami Heat series and Julius Randle's playoff performance in totality right now.
In totality, well, for starters, I mean, what a show RJ has put up, man. From those first two games, they just seemed like it just same old RJ. This is the RJ that we thought was gonna show out in the playoffs. This is what his pedestrian line stat line. But since then, I mean, the guy's been on a tear, and as much as he's been so productive, just looking at the bigger picture, I mean, how big is this for the Knicks as a whole? Just to see your one of your players kind of blossom right in front of your eyes in the biggest stage, where realistically, obviously we're Knicks fans and yes, we have our biases, some RJ haters and whatnot, but as a whole, and as a casual NBA fan or even like league wide, not that many people respected RJ, and I felt like with this playoff run, I feel like he's definitely gained some of that respect. Maybe not third overall pick, he's an all-star, but just enough that he belongs in the league and he belongs to some conversations of maybe one day he'll be an all-star. And we'll take that for right now. The guy, I mean, how many times have we said the guy is still 22 years old, and if he's playing like this in the big stage, second round against a tough team, matched up against a tough Jimmy Butler, who most nights will probably get the best of your best player on the other team. Like I'm actually glad to see RJ, and I've been an RJ fan. Obviously, he's reeled me back where I've kind of jumped off the I sold some of my stock on RJ this year. Not gonna lie, but it's due to his play and also just not reaching his potential. I mean, I was at the draft when RJ got drafted. I bought his jersey. I had stock in him. I got his rookie card, hologram, like you name it. But I do think that this is really impressive. I get a lot of I got my uncle. He's always telling me how the Knicks drafted Knox over this guy, Neil Aquino over this guy, RJ over Garland, and so on and so forth. And the fact that now is a little bit debatable. Granted, Garland is still his trajectory is still like lined up to be a superstar point guard. But I mean, look who won and who played the part and played a big role on their team. It was RJ. And look at where we at now, second round. Let's see if we push the Heat and go to Game 7 and win it all. And it's gonna be due to RJ's production. Now, leading to Julius Randle on the other end, I mean, I've always had a little soft spot for Julius. I always like Julius, man. He coming to the Knicks, it was a little bit hard because I saw more of it as an asset to trade away. But even through the the rocky road, so to say, he's grown on me, and I just understand like the hate. There's just so much negativity towards him, man, and to the point where even now I see him play, I'm like, dude, the guy twisted his ankle really bad a few weeks ago, re-injured it. What more do you expect? The guy is out there trying his best. I mean, we didn't even know what's going on behind the scenes for him to make sure that his ankle is ready is in game shape form. Like, and then he pulls up a game like he did yesterday. Granted, the defense isn't there, but there's only so much he could do with a bum ankle. I'm sorry, like that's the reality. And you could say, anybody could say, well, everybody's hurt. Yeah, but nobody got hurt that bad. That was pretty bad.
We don't know that. Brunson, they say he's getting round the clock treatment on that ankle.
and then don't get me wrong. And Brunson has the ball most of the time. He's the one that's actually getting targeted on defense. They're always trying to make sure he's the one defending the guy with the ball. But at the same time, I feel like the Heat are doing the same thing with Julius, which is why we're seeing a lot of this, him getting exposed on the defensive end. But nonetheless, I mean, I'm not gonna react trade Julius for potato bag of chips and water. Like you've been hearing so much nonsense out there, man. I'm just here to support my guys. I can't. There's no negativity on me towards our players just because we're on this run. We're in this run together. Whether we should talk them or not, what is that gonna do on the court? I feel like us motivating our guys to inspire them, whether they're reading my tweet or not. I mean, I hope so. Hopefully, they're watching the show and they're saying, "Yo, shout out to my Knicks fans, Wild and crew," because it seemed like they're real positive. The fear meter was at 3 the other day. It seemed like it's at 2 now because they don't even seem even scared now. But I just felt like why be negative when at the same time, man, we play with house money, man. Before the season,
I don't wanna hear that.
before the series started, man, we were talking about the season was a success. Granted, do I want them to win now? Hell yeah, I'm gonna be tight if we lose. Hell fuck yeah, I'm gonna be tight. But at the same time, I'm not gonna hold James Dolan hostage because Julius Randle is playing on a bumped ankle. Like, come on, man.
Not an excuse.
We all human at the end of the day, man. We all human at the end of the day.
Let's not. Yeah, I mean, you valid. I disagree with the bum ankle, but I could see why some people would agree with you there. Uh, it is what it is with Julius. It is what it is with Julius and RJ. But Zebo, well, the biggest Julius Randle fan, right next to Omar's, 1A, 1B. And I gotta hear your thoughts on, and the biggest RJ Barrett hater too as
No,
well.
I wouldn't say hater. I would say critic. Let's come on, bro.
Nah,
That's how you know you're a hater when
hate is a strong.
insist on
Hate is
being
a
called a
strong.
critic.
you're a bona fide hater. You're a bona fide RJ hater.
I'm a RJ critic, but listen, man, I can't even front, man. Shout out to RJ because he's really been. I mean, other than Jalen
That's a
Brunson, bro,
solo
he's
for
been the second. He's been the second best player in this for us this series, man. He's doing everything that. Again, he's doing everything that we've been asking from him to be patient, be aggressive when you get the opportunities, make the right reads, make the right passes, man. Some of the passes he made yesterday, like obviously he did great. He was super efficient with the 26 points, man. But some of the passes that he was making to his teammates, shout out to him, man. He really has been keeping us in this series, man, especially with his shooting, man. Like to see the efficiency, because again, one of the biggest critiques I had about him is the fact that he's just not efficient. And to see him shooting the ball efficiently, not being scared, man, of the moment, shout out to him, man. That's all I legit been asking for. Like again, I don't think this man is elite, but he can definitely be a critical part of our team, and he's doing that. And listen, man, when it comes to Julius, it's been bad, bro. I can't even lie to you. It's been bad. It's been bad this series. Again, Juan, he made the excuse about the ankle. I'm not even going to make that as an excuse, bro. Like if you're good enough to be on the floor, if you're good enough to go ahead and run, if you're good enough to keep on driving it, take those stupid charges and offensive charges and to go ahead and go ahead all around. I'm not even going to make it an excuse, man. Like the defense has been bad. Some of the closeouts, man, just some of the effort I've been seeing from him, I didn't like it. I don't like the fact that Tibbs has to actually like. There was one point where Tibbs had to like actually tell him, like, "Yo, can you go ahead and hustle a little? Can you give me some more effort? Like to for legit for your start for your coach to actually start a player to show a little effort, especially during a playoff game. That's he lost some points for me. But again, man, like I said in the beginning, like this is the marriage we have with Julius Randle. Like again, there are days where we just really just he just man, he just boils my blood. Like he just man, he just go
I
yo,
thought
he
you
just
wanted
gets
to
me
give him
so
a hug.
frustrated.
I thought
He
you
gets
wanted
me
to give
so
him a hug.
frustrated, man. Like I don't know, but man, there's days like yesterday, man. Days like the 56-point game that we saw, like days where he's just on it, man, and you just want to put your arms up, man, around it. You just want to give him a hug, but and like I said before, man, like we're not going anywhere without Julius. Like again, as big as the 38 points were from Brunson, we needed the 24 from Julius, and so we are gonna go as far as Julius takes us. So if Julius has a great game 6, then we are coming back to the Garden, man. I guarantee that. Regardless of whatever happens, if Julius has a great efficient game, if he's not holding the ball, if he's not making, if he's making great decisions with the ball, if he's showing effort on defense, rebounding the ball, not cherry picking, again, taking the open shot when he has it, we are going back. We are going back. We're going back to the Garden.
Wow, Zebo with a RJ positive and Julius.
Yeah.
If you really look behind them, I'll put the screen.
I don't think we ever seen
Yo, I
it.
appreciate you. Nah, bro. I have to keep it small, bro. I have to keep it up. I gotta keep it 100, bro. I mean, this is Knicks fans wilding, but at the same time, bro, we gotta critique it right, man. Like honestly, RJ's been doing his thing, man. Like again, I don't want to talk too much about again, I'm not even gonna bring up the offseason whether we're gonna trade these guys because we still in it right now. We need both of them right now. Like we need both of them right now for again. If we have a great game 6, if we have an efficient game from RJ and a great game from Julius, we coming back to the Garden.
All right, I feel that. Before I kick it to Omar, because he's the biggest Julius fan, he's gonna go last. I'm gonna go before you, Omar. I'm gonna let you get your shine last. But for me, look, this is the I feel like like social media presence and just like doing podcasting and stuff is like we react so much every game, every game, every other game, every 4 or 5 games. And players, these are professional basketball players. And I remember me and Zebo was out there in Denver and we saw RJ go 0 for 9 from 3. He went for
That
like
was so bad.
He went like 0 for 21 at one point in the season, or 0 for 20 something. I don't know what the exact number was, And that's the thing that happens with RJ sometimes. He loses confidence and sometimes his 3-pointers just get shifty. He does some other stuff. But right now, currently, I mean, this RJ Barrett, I mean, this is, if RJ could play like this, he can be considered for an all-star, which I thought he could be last year, because he's playing aggressive. He's making the right read. He's making the right passes. And he's playing great defense. And, like, if he could keep this up for a whole year, then he could definitely be in an all-star conversation. So, but this is just like social media because RJ is going to go through one of those bad stretches again where it's like, what is it? Like, is he even an NBA player? Like people were saying after the second game in Cleveland. So the thing with RJ, he just got to keep his confidence up, man. I feel like he loses his confidence. His confidence comes and goes. And when he's playing confident, he's playing like he is now, very loose, just being that player that we've been longing for here with the Knicks. 3rd overall pick. Everybody loves RJ. Everybody wants to get behind RJ. Even RJ critiques, as Zebo likes to call himself. They're pulling for RJ, because he's our guy. Like he's the guy that the Knicks bought in. And despite Zion, Ja, and Garland, and all these other guys, it's someone that the Knicks fans are pulling for. And yeah, RJ, man, he's growing up. He's growing up and he's playing big playoff minutes. So we'll love to see that. As far as Julius, man, I've said this multiple times on the show. Julius is just an imperfect basketball player. He does great things and then he does bad things. And this is why this is not a conversation we're about to have now on this show, but the RJ and Julius conversation, I think, is going to happen pretty soon. It's going to happen pretty soon because I don't know if both players, when the Knicks are going for that championship next level, I don't think both players could be on the roster. But that's a conversation for a different day. But Julius, he just frustrates you because we know what he has in us. We know what he has. And he sometimes, where does it go? Like, where does it go with him when last game in the first quarter, he was just doing the bad Julius, 1 of 7 from the field, holding the ball, jab step, shoot, miss, And then in the third quarter, we saw him completely shift. And it was like, grab the ball, go down to the paint, kick it out. He led to like 3 open threes at one point in the third quarter. He had 11 points and 4 assists in the third quarter alone. He shot 10 free throws in the game. Like, that is an aggressive Julius. And that's a Julius that, as Zebo mentioned, like, he could the Knicks could have been closing this out if we would have seen this Julius this entire playoff series. But listen, Julius, he is what he is. I feel like the slander on social media and all platforms, and you just see guys just it basically becomes the Julius file. Like they just highlight all Julius uh, inefficiencies, his lapses on defense, and I think that's very unfair because this Knicks team, you could go down the list on every player, and they done that. You know, Grimes missing free throw. I mean, missing layup. He airballed a finger roll one time. RJ, you could do that with RJ sometimes. The ball came out, RJ and Grimes under the basket. They let the ball go out of bounds. Like you could just do that with every play. It's been a frustrating season, but you just see the Julius files. You just see Julius missing assignments, backdoor cut, excuse me, and stuff like that. So I feel like the slander on him is a little excessive. Don't get me wrong, I do think that, but that's what comes with New York. And if you go back 10 years, Carmelo Anthony was getting that same treatment. He was getting that same treatment, if not worse, because he was Carmelo. So it is what it is with Julius. I feel like I'm like on with you guys where you just got to live with it right now. But some Knicks fans, they hate him so much that they do not want to live with it. So there's nothing you could do because you're not Leon Rose. We're not Leon Rose. It is what Leon Rose wants to do with Julius at this point. But the biggest Julius Randle, we got to give him the solo screen right here. I don't even start with RJ. Start with Julius right now.
No, I'm gonna start with RJ. Let me start with RJ. So, if I told you guys at the beginning of this season that RJ would average 23, 5, and 3 and shoot 41% from beyond the arc, right? You would have signed up for that immediately. Guess what? That's what he's doing in this series against Miami. Those are his numbers against Miami. He's been fantastic. He's looked every single ounce of the third overall pick. And me and Rafa kind of say this all the time. People don't like RJ outside of the Knicks bubble because he doesn't give you the highlights that Zion does. He doesn't give you those flashy plays that Ja does. He isn't a point guard who's always touching the ball like Garland is. But what he has done, he's flashed playmaking in this series. The shot has been there, 41% from three. And the defense has been excellent as well. You know, you mentioned the block on Jimmy, but his help defense and his rotations have been immaculate this series. And for that part, the last 3 games of the Cleveland series. Obviously, we know the first 2 games were a dud, but out of the 10 games, he's had 8 good ones, you know? So hard to argue with that when it comes to RJ. Obviously, he is extended. He's going to be here for a while. I think ultimately, you know, if he continues the trajectory, because again, you know, all the RJ fans love to point the fact that, hey, he's only 22. And he is only 22, and there's a good chance he continues to get even better from here. So, Triple M, you mentioned the decision that they're going to have between Julius and RJ. Biggest Julius Randle fan, me and Zebo, I'll tell you right now, they're picking RJ 10 times out of 10. He's their guy, homegrown.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to go. Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off your point off. So I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I don't. But I just want to give you a little pushback on that because that's a point I actually forgot to make. When you have to pick about RJ and Julius, I honestly think they're picking Julius because RJ is going to give you something. You know, we almost traded RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell. RJ is the piece that's going to get you possibly a superstar, and we don't know what Julius trade value. Can Julius get you into the who's a superstar like a Jaylen Brown conversation or Damian
Boston's
Lillard?
not trading with us. Let's
No,
calm
I'm
down.
saying I'm just spitballing superstars that might be Damian Lillard. Like, you know, let's say Portland finally says, "Man, we're gonna blow it up. What's your offer for Dame?" You know, the Knicks are gonna come first name up is gonna be RJ Barrett. Right. So that's why I would push back on that point where I think the Julius versus RJ. I think RJ would be the player that the Knicks try to give up just because his value is higher.
My counter to that is that he's been so good in the playoffs. How do you trade him, right? Unless it's, again, like you said, for a Luka Doncic type, you know, somebody that's that next level, right? If it's for somebody like Lillard, an older point guard, it probably isn't happening. They're probably, okay, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, to be honest. Because we're still talking about Dame Lillard, guys like 33 years old this coming season. and who has had a couple injuries these past couple years. But that's beyond the point. We're not going to, like Zebo said, not talking off-season stuff, but
we won't put that energy.
we're not going there. So, but RJ's been amazing. He has shown you that those people who have been behind him from day one, they were on to something. Maybe not to the point that they thought he was going to be, but he is trending in a trajectory that makes you think, like, does the calculus for this team shift around RJ and Brunson as opposed to around Brunson and Randall? Now, speaking of Randall, so I have to explain myself.
Get your popcorn ready, people.
I have to explain myself when it comes to Randall about why I like him so much. I feel like, the COVID year was, so the year after the bubble was a difficult year for just people living, right? And that Knicks team, which is a team that was carried on the back of Randall largely, was something that brought us fans joy, right? So he earned a lot of points with me because it brought the team back to relevance. Then last year was terrible, and this year he rebounded. He gets. I personally believe we don't get Jalen Brunson without the contributions that you got from Julius Randle, and because otherwise you're looking at a dumpster fire organization that, if he would have been traded for a second-round pick, like people were saying he should have been after his first year in New York, we would have never got somebody like Jalen Brunson. So Randall, like you said, Triple M is an imperfect player. He is not a superstar. That's why he's probably the second best player on this team. We all know that Jalen Brunson is the number one guy. This series in this playoff, quite frankly, he's not been very great. He's had lapses defensively. The shot has not been falling, and we've had a lot of frustrations. But at the same time, we're also talking about a two-time All-NBA selection. At the same time, we're talking about a guy who's a walking 20 and 10. We're talking about a guy who could probably average in between 35 and 38% from three and still take it inside. So people acting like this guy is just some tradable Kevin Knox level asset is kind of preposterous to me. Like, are you frustrated by his inefficiencies in the playoffs? Yes. There's no debating that he has been frustrating to watch. But so I started watching this team in the mid-90s, guys. I saw them do it to Patrick Ewing. I saw them do it to Stephon Marbury. I saw them do it to Carmelo Anthony. And I'm seeing them do it to Julius Randle. They do it to RJ. They do it to Brunson. This is what our fan base does. We are so critical of this team because it's been 50 fucking years since we won a title. And we want it so bad because it's such a basketball city. Like you guys all live in New York. I grew up in New York City. It is such a basketball city. When the Knicks are good, it's different. I get it. Like when the Yankees are winning titles, there's a buzz in the Bronx and all that. That's cool. When the Rangers won in the 90s, it was a big deal. But even when the Giants won, big deal. But when the Knicks are doing well, it is totally different. And you see people all over the streets. We get mocked about it all the time. It's just a passionate fan base. And with a passionate fan base, you get a lot of irrationality. So we see Julius go 1 for 7 in the first half. We're like, get this fucking bum off my team. You know what Jason Tatum went in the first half in tonight's game against Philly? 1 for 10. I'm sorry, 0 for 10 in the first half, excuse me. And he kind of turned it around to the second half. I don't see Boston fans kind of jumping off the bridge on Jason Tatum, okay? And so I feel like you want to trade Julius Randle, good for you, man. Tell me who we're getting to replace him. Yeah. You think Obi Toppin's making that leap? I don't. Do you have a plan to get Jaylen Brown? Do you have a plan to acquire Anthony Edwards when he inevitably asks out from Minnesota? Like, do you have a piece of in mind? You could say you want to get rid of Randall and we're done with this guy, whatever. That's cool. But I look at it as he still demands double teams from a Heat defense. He has been shooting like shit, and he still is attracting double and sometimes triple teams because they know he can get hot and he can take it inside and bully Bam and these other guys inside if he really gets going. So the criticisms, I feel like after a win, especially when he was efficient, shooting over 50% from three and 50% from the field, I just don't get it. Like, I get you're looking at the totality of the series, and that's the big issue, right? But I still, like I said earlier, I feel like the process has been good. The shots just haven't been falling. Defensively, I'm not taking it away. He's been bad. Zebo agrees. We both said this. We both like Randall. He's been bad on defense. The closeouts not been good. Kevin Love has gotten way too many open looks. I think we all know that. But that's the thing with Randall. He's not a superstar. He never has been a superstar. But he's a guy who chose New York, who re-signed in New York, and like I embrace somebody who accepts that challenge. Like, consider the state of this team when he signed here. We whiffed on KD and Kyrie. We didn't win the lottery. We're coming off at like a 17-win season. And he's like, no, I want to go there and show that I could be a legit player. And he's turned himself into a legit player. And you could say whatever you want about, how frustrating he is. He has still shown himself to be a legit player. He's won 2 All-NBA selections, made an All-Star game. That shouldn't be just poo-pooed away like, oh, yeah, anybody could do that. If anybody could do that, we would have had multiple All-NBA selections by now. So
Mike says all the Randall criticism is warranted, though. He's feeling spicy right now.
That's cool, man. Here's the deal. Like, a lot of fans are going to feel that way because, they see all these missed shots. But I sometimes, no disrespect, Mike, but I sometimes feel like a lot of fans don't watch other games. Like, I watch these other series. I'm seeing games where Anthony Davis is great one day and he's like buns the next game, right? And you're trying to tell me that if you see that from our players and that's somehow different, and a lot of Knicks fans would trade for Anthony Davis, if given the opportunity. So I think that we kind of have to take a step back and see what we're actually giving up on, and who are we getting to replace him? If somebody can give me a proper trade, like, are you going to bring in DeAndre Ayton? Do you think that's the answer? Like,
that's the thing I said with the RJ Randall debate. It's like we just don't know really what is Randall's trade value, because his contract is pretty decent. He's getting paid like $30 million for his production. That's pretty good when you see guys getting paid 50, 60.
And that's credit to the front office. They negotiate these descending deals. Brunson is going to have one of the most attractive deals in the league next year. So that's by design. They do a great job.
It's crazy because legit when he had that contract, people were saying it was an actual bad contract for him. So it's just crazy how everything comes in full circle.
Even Mitch contract, I feel like is going to be decent because you're going to see guys like Claxton coming up. What are the Brooklyn going to give him? Jared Allen is already making $20 million. So I think Mitch his contract is going to look all right here coming up. But yeah, that's the biggest thing with Randall. What is his trade value? Knicks fans wanted to trade him for Ben Simmons last year. Look at that. That would have been a complete.
This is why Knicks fans don't work in the front office, man. Like, I fully understand if you want to get rid of this guy. Like, he's given us enough reason to be out on him. Inconsistencies, lack of effort defensively. I think people are still mad about thumbs down, that whole shit. So, but give me a plan. If you really want to do this, are you going to trade him for what? Or trade who and him for what? And, that becomes the thing. It's like, either you kind of want to figure out how to win with him, or you figure out how to move off of him. But all people are saying, oh, you just got to trade him for a bag of chips. What does a second-round pick for Julius Randle get us, really? What does that get us? We'll just sign some mid-level exception, stretch 5 backup to Obi and hope that Obi is a superstar player? Is that what we're banking on?
I already seen too much of Obi. I'm good.
We'll bring Mike Omar back in July, and we'll revisit this conversation because I've been saying it over and over. This is going to be a crazy offseason, fellas. It's going to be crazy because all these teams got to get their books in order with the CBA coming up. So there's going to be so much.
And the Knicks are in a good position there. Like, you got the quick extension coming up, so that gets a little dicey. But, I think you kind of have to look at it from a perspective of what is this team's timeline? Is the idea that, hey, we can get it to another level if they look at say they lose tomorrow night, right? They go out in 6, second round, and say, okay, cool. How do we get to the conference finals? Are they going to say, well, hey, we'll have another year of development of Emmanuel quickly. He'll be better. We'll re-sign Josh Hart. He'll have a full offseason program with these guys. We'll get Julius and Jalen's health right, and then we could be in a position. Or they say, no, the ceiling for this team is a second round team, which is how a lot of people feel. And how do we improve our roster? Who's available? Who wants out? How do we flip in some assets to get that person? Because they still have a decent amount of picks left. They got a guy who just got selected to All-NBA in Julius. They got a promising player in RJ. They're not trading Brunson. I think we all know that. And what do you do then, right? And that becomes a question. And I'm not sure what
go down this rabbit hole. I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Have me on in July. We'll talk about it.
we have to take advantage of this Brunson contract. It's just too good. It's just too good. You get in a 1B, 2A type of player for that kind of money. You have to just go all in somehow and do right now. But let's not go down the rabbit hole. Let's leave it at that.
Man, my next question would have been who's the all in?
In July. We'll talk about it in July. Let's lock in Game 6 in Miami, fellas.
Game ultimate cliffhanger. I like it.
We've been talking too much. Let's re-lock in for Game 6 in Miami. We've been chopping it up for a while, so let's close it out right here, man. Game 6 in Miami. I'm gonna give it back to all you guys right here. Put your Tom Thibodeau hat. I gave this scenario last week. Put your Tom Thibodeau hat. Don Juan, get us out of here and motivate the squad to win Game 6 in Miami.
Hey! Make sure to subscribe and like the video. In all seriousness, man. Knicks is 7. We are in Miami. Toes out. You already know the dogs is out. We're going to be wilding. New York City going to turn up. We're going to be at the Garden to watch the game. Watch party in there tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, when was the last time? 10 years is a Game 6 appearance in the second round, man. We know the fans got to turn up tomorrow, man. And make sure that our guys feel appreciated out there, man. Just, Knicks, Julius, RJ, and our captain Brunson, hold it down south and bring this shit back up north so we could close it out in New York City.
Zebo, man, give us his little motivation.
Yo, this is what. Listen, man. If you're a Knicks fan, man, this is what you dreaming for, man. Let's go. We about to get this dub, man. Keep showing love, yo. Like Don Juan said, yo. Tomorrow we about to be in the Garden. We about to be lit. You're not gonna see Triple M. You're gonna see Tequila Tito out tomorrow. So, man, if you see us, that's a fact. So if you see us, man, definitely show love, man. We're gonna be hyped out there. Like I said, man, we got this, man. We're going back to the Garden for Game 7, man. That's it. I'm not saying no more.
Oh, the energy is intoxicating Omar, man. You got to get us out of here right.
Listen, Knicks in 7, like Don Juan said, got to take business in South Beach. I just spent way too much time talking about Julius Randle. So, Julius, shut these people up. Get a great game.
Oh, yes, sir.
And RJ and Jalen, come along for the ride, and let's just get this W, bring it back to New York City, and see what these guys can do at Game 7. So, Knicks in 7, let's get it done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. You already know the vibes, man. Triple M in the building. With my Tom Thibodeau cap on. Bring in that hustle. Bring in that grit. Like Zebo said, man, we turning it up. Madison Square Garden. Taking off the hoodie right now. Fresh praise right now on a trillion right now, man. Listen, Knicks is 7 for sure. We're going to shut up our guy Mo Murphy. We're going to talk all that stuff off the ball, man. We're going to talk all that stuff out there. Don't let this game come back down to Broadway, Miami. If you're going to take care of business, take care of it tomorrow, because if it comes back to 33rd and 8th, I'm telling you, it's going to be a scary thought, man. So you already know the vibe. Shout out to the guy, man. Make sure to like. This was an extremely fun show. Look at it. Got the all-in-one. Oh, man, everybody going crazy, yo. Shout out to y'all.
Fellas.
We up out of here, man. Peace.